So, hello, beautifuls and beloveds. Another fun video for you guys, I hope, as a costumer or choreographer. So this is just an example. It's hard to read it off of my binder here, but this is a design and sketchbook to give anybody an example. It's not my professional portfolio, but it's something that I whip out really quickly just to give somebody a brief idea of what I can do. And I usually carry in the actual samples with me, but I don't normally do this that much. I'm very expensive now, actually. If you want me to design a costume for you, I do it for a lot of colleges. You gotta pay me pretty well now, because I mean, I have a lot of really great credits, and after you get as many as I have, plus I had my own clothing line design, and you know, come on, you gotta pay me really well. But I'd be more than happy to do it. And sometimes we hire people if I just can't make it work somehow, or if I really want to work with a designer that is beyond my years and experience, or we just love them. There's many reasons, right? But this is very helpful if you are a choreographer and you can sketch a little bit. What I'm about to show you, do not use any of these, my friends, because a lot of these, actually every single one of these I'm about to show you, has been used either in my dances, my mentor's dances, or somebody who paid me, and they're under copyright too. So please do not use them. I'm giving you fair warning here. And you need to obey. Very, very simple. So, I'm going to show you some things. Hold on. Let me start from the beginning. So, these are my body sketches. And what this entails, you know what, there's a bit of glare from the light. Pull this out a little bit here. We have this in our computers, and we print them out. But this is actually a pose that I did, me as a human being, and I took out a lot of my curves and made it more like I did the other video, body type, more of the rectangle shape, because basically any design looks great on this body type, and it's easier as a designer just to start off with this. And then as you move along in the project, you can tailor it and draw different shapes. I highly recommend, if you really are not good at drawing shapes and body types, take photographs of the dancers themselves, get their measurements, and then take it and make a silhouette in your graphic design program on your computer and trace it, and you'll have a really perfect representation of that dancer. Get it from the front, back, and sides. That's what I do. It's very, very helpful. You can make the costumes fit better that way. But it's always good to start with that, and then that's how I start my sketches usually. Or I will just take my own little body and start draping and wrapping and seeing what I come up with. Everything's legitimate, everything's good. There are many, many paths to the same, what do you want to call it? There are many paths to get the same or similar effect, you know? These are just some of the things I do. Now, these are, like I said, all of these have been used, so do not use them. Not only will I, but the choreographer will come after you with ferocity. So, again, this is actually stretch fabric, sometimes jersey, knit, sometimes lycra. It depends what your choreographer wants. Do you want it shiny? Do you want it flat? Do you want a matte look? See-through, texture. This is a combination. Oh, and we usually use this color paper, not white, because white is actually a very common color. This is parchment, kind of, right? And white's a very common color for costumes. So you can't do white on white very successfully. People have, but I can't really see it too well. And that's why we chose to use parchment. And you can do what you want, really, but I'm just saying. Here are stretchy leggings, and you know, these are different ideas. I hit it perfectly. I listened to the choreographer, and I nailed it. Comes with practice. Not always do I nail it right off the top, but they wanted several choices for their piece, and I was like, you want several choices so you can pick one? You want several choices because you want to use all of this, each of the designs? And the answer was yes and yes. So I'm like, okay, let's just give it a shot. So they ended up using all of my designs because they wanted it white with similar feels, kind of like how they do now with bridal parties, where the similar or pretty close to the same color, but it'll be a different neckline or a different strap, but they're about, right? So I think that looks kind of cool. You know, there's something to be said to be exactly the same. That's legitimate too. But there's something to be said about having a texture within a texture and layering it that way. So it's legitimate. But for this dance, they wanted all of these designs. There's another one too. Hold on. I don't want to get to that one yet. Yeah. Here we go. Because there are also men in the piece. But see, this is the use of, I don't know if it was chiffon or crepe chiffon, but the very fainter white is that fabric. So there's two different textures. And this one was the sleeves overlay. And here again, booty shorts and a sheer chiffon and little booby pieces in here to cover, you know, little privates that I made as little pockets inside. It was really cool. Here you can see where the opaque part and the chiffon part was, and this is for the guy, and we just tied a very nice piece of chiffon around the upper arm, and it worked really well. And again, here's some more. This was a take off of my one dance. It's called Phileo Eros, and I didn't mind loaning the idea to them. I just changed it ever so slightly, and they opted for having capri leggings and booties. So I actually got to use the same design twice in this case. And here's an overlay with just a leotard underneath. Here's one, the halter with the chiffon. And we actually sewed in little briefs, bikini to the bottom part there. And it looked very, 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 very nice. So, you know, it's all very helpful, actually. Again, all of this is copyright. Do not take any of these. And you can go on our wall and see what we used. Now this one was very interesting. So the choreographer wanted to opt for this, but they're like, I want ties on the side, so that was the only thing. This I used for another choreographer, but see, I gave them 3 options, and I saved this because not only is it my work, but I wanted to maybe use this for myself, maybe these 2 designs, maybe I wanted to use this design myself too, or present it to another choreographer, but of course change it up because I don't believe in reusing anybody's thing because you're getting paid for it. You know, that's very tacky to do. Plus there's copyright issues. But I would say, now look, this was already used, but you know, if you want something similar, I can work on it for you. But these 2 were never used, but in this case, they all ended up being used at some point in time. Again, copyright. And this, some of you guys will probably recognize this from one of my pieces. It's Art of Brokenness. The red slips, black slips. used, copyright, so don't use it. And then here's the evolution of Safe From Me. This, you can tell what piece it was from, right? And we totally went a different direction because I was like, wait, this animalistic look doesn't work for this piece. That's what happens when you're talking with your board and they're like, hey, maybe this and maybe that, or I don't know. But we ended up going with just a chemise, a black chemise. This was all, the whole thing was black with white light. It was very, very dramatic. And this is when I had another dancer portray the main character. I'm like, you know what? No, I don't want to do that part this time. I just want to be, you know, the echo of this character's soul. And it worked pretty good. The first presentation of it was, it's on our timeline, what do you call it? Our YouTube channel. And we had to stage it differently because the stage was different. And I needed to figure out a different placement because we were all on the same plane and I misunderstood the dimensions. So when we were in rehearsal, I had marked it out wrong. And I was like, oh, we have more depth than I thought. So now I have to restage it. You'll see, because you'll say, you know what? Why are these dancers like on top of each other and so horizontal on, you know, my mistake. But that was just a dress rehearsal. But I wanted people to see that too because it teaches. Not everything is going to be like perfect because it taught me something and I can teach you something now from my mistakes and learning. So another thing I do is, this is a very small offering of fabrics that I have to work from. I work with a lot of providers, and as years went along, companies come and go. But I like to get Swatch cards updated, and you have to have a license, and I do to do all this stuff. And yeah, I have been designing costumes for a very, and clothing for a very, very long time. That's what happened. My mom just wanted to keep me quiet on the weekends, and my nana was actually cultivating me as a performer. That's what happens. You start cutting up old sheets, old whatever, and there you go. Yeah, I've got a lot of funny stories to tell you about that sometime. But anyway, so based on the costuming, I'm going to take this out because I really don't want people to see this thing. I hope you didn't see it already, but whatever. A lot of the designs you saw in here, so I can give an example saying, well, you saw that chiffon thing, well, you know, mesh, whatever. Here's a sample and all the different colors, but this was the white from that one. And I'm able to just show everybody. Here are just complementary fabrics to choose to work with. And it's fun because you can see what matches and what doesn't. And sometimes what you think matches will not. And lighting is a huge thing. I did something for one of my mentors, and it was this design right back here. Let me show you. We changed it from blue. Here you go. It was this design here. And he's like, no, green. Okay, you got it. However, that shade of green was very, very hard to light. Let me show you the shade. It will look weird here even. Lighting and the colors, oh, what a nightmare. Violet is really hard too. There are certain shades. And it'll look different under tungsten light versus the LED lights. You have to find out from the lighting designer what kind of color temperature your lights are that they're going to have, because it's going to change everything. So I made a mistake, and this is the fabric. I made a mistake. I learned. I felt so bad. You knew I didn't do it on purpose. Where is it? Oops. Wrong. Sorry, I'm on the wrong side. Here. It was this beautiful mint color. It was silk. Only the best. And very expensive. It's like $18 to $20 a yard. I know where to get it really inexpensively. Real high quality grade too. But this did not light well in the lighting, so I had to make changes. And so did he. What is that slamming going on?
Looks like it's coming from upstairs.
What is wrong with these human beings?
I don't know.
They're getting more badly behaved every day. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
We have no music on, no anything. My voice is not loud enough to be heard. Plus we've soundproofed the place too. But I just really don't understand their issues. There's something not right with them. Anyhow, you know, all these different fabrics. So I highly recommend if you can work with the lighting designer and say, hey, look, I just want to see what this is going to look like under certain color temperature bulbs. And we actually have bulbs that we use. And you can put it, some of them you can put them in flashlights and you shine on there and you can check and see. But for some people it's really, really important what their costumes look like on stage. Now you want to also keep in mind the shimmer. Just like you don't necessarily want to put glitter on, you know, here, you know, beautiful, right? You would think. And then some here. But if it's not done right or the right amount of sparkle, it looks like sweat, and you might not want that. So you have to look at the different sizes of the glitter. Oh my gosh, I got so much to say. So much that I've learned. But if I can spare you from making mistakes that I've made, I'd love to do that. Now, I'm looking at this little viewfinder, and it's very hard to tell my eyesight. But from what I can see, this looks completely different in real life, which would be stage, versus what I'm seeing in the viewfinder, and then who knows what the outfit's going to be. But this has a shimmer to it as well. This is very, very high intensity glitter, but it doesn't seem like it's coming across as high glitter on the video playback here, little monitor. Here's something else too. There are some things that you can actually use in reflect. See, this is highly reflective material. Very challenging to put on stage. You might want that. You might not want that. It depends. This one's a little bit more so. Anyhow, that just gives you a little idea. You know, if you want more examples, you either have to pay to download the videos or pay for my books and stuff. This just gives you a little bit to whet your appetite. There is so much involved with costuming and designing clothing, especially for film versus video versus just being on stage. But that, you know, like I said, it gives you a little bit of an idea of what you have to look forward to. But again, enjoy it. Enjoy the process. It can be a headache, I know, because I know. I've been doing it myself, and you know, some people will appreciate it. Some people have been doing it for a long time. They just want to get it over with. Some teachers can be like that, and then yet some teachers are just, you know, hey, oh my gosh, thank you so much for doing this for me. And you get all kinds, all walks of life. And, you know, I just do what I gotta do. But as time went on and I learned a lot, this is my thing in, I don't want to say embryo because I was doing it long before then, but it was a basic portion of my talents. And it's very important when you are working on a project. Like, I had to learn everything because not only did I have no budget, especially when I was first starting off. Like I said in my other videos, my father, my grandmother wanted me to learn and earn respect. And being multifaceted and talented allows for you to learn. You might not be good at all of it. I happen to be pretty darn good at all of it and pretty organized. But this is also saving my tail too, because now when we're, doing my trademark, it's like, no, how much evidence do you want that I'm doing everything that I say my trademark stands for? They can't combat it. They could try. They're not going to be successful because I have a plethora of this stuff all over the place. And I live it, I wear it. A lot of times when you see me doing these videos, I'm actually wearing one of my creations, like that purple off the shoulder chemise top, that totally my creation. And other things, I have another version of this that is, I think, black, burgundy, and teal green. All my stuff. So anyhow, enjoy the process again. I know I do most of the time, and if you have any questions, again, post them in the comments, and one of us hopefully will get back to you soon. But I guess that's about it for this, and much fun.